and we'll get started. Okay, so today I want to talk about women's health. That's something, we, most of us in this business are women, so we're concerned about it at different ages. So I kind of want to go through the different ages of women's health. So we have, when you're a girl, you become a woman. Once you become a woman, most of the people at that age are dealing with things like bad menstrual cramps. And I'm seeing it more and more often. I've got 4 girls here, and all 4 of them have really bad periods. 3 of them are exceptionally bad, where they just kind of like are out of commission for 2 days, miss school and everything because it's that bad for them. So we have, looked at essential oils at finding some relief, which we're getting now. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that are used a lot during that time. We have Clary-Calm, and I don't have my Clary-Calm up here, so I can't show you that one. But Clary-Calm is one that I have my girls rub on their abdomen. When you use Clary-Calm, it's a blend. So when you're using that, it's a good idea to take a, you want to mute yourself so we don't hear background noises? You can just hit the mute button. It'll make it easier. If you want to speak, just go ahead and unmute yourself while you speak.
Who, me?
Whoever is, I can hear background noise somewhere.
Oh.
And then if you want to speak, you can unmute yourself when you want to talk. Anyway, so young girls are having a lot of problems with their menstrual cycles nowadays. It seems to be definitely much more than it was. I knew a couple girls when I was younger, but when I was a teenager, young adult, I didn't have any issues, and most of my friends didn't either. So it does seem to be something that we're seem to see more often, and I don't know if that's the case with you guys. But one of the things that we found that helps it is the essential oils. Clary-Calm was designed for that specific reason. It was designed to help balance the hormones, because the reason we have the cramping and all the problems we have during our cycles is because our hormones go completely off balance. And everybody experiences different symptoms and different levels of symptoms. So again, it goes back to sometimes, somebody could have a problem and it seems like they're dealing with it fine, and somebody else is having a really hard time. And sometimes we don't understand that just because it's easy for us doesn't mean it's easy for everybody, because everybody experiences different symptoms and they experiences different levels of those symptoms. So we are trying to address, the symptoms that they're going to have so they can lead relatively normal lives, right? So what we do is we put Clary-Calm on the abdomen, and then we put a heating pad. So heating pad will drive in the oils. Now Clary-Calm already has a carrier oil in it, so you don't need to add a carrier oil, and you just want to use the heat to drive in the oil. If you don't want a heating pad, you can also take a hot bath. And again, the heat will drive in the oil. And if you ever want to experiment with oils and see how well heat works at driving in the oils, get in a tub with, a tepid bath with lavender oil, a few drops, maybe 3 drops, and it should feel pretty normal. You get in that same 3 drops in a hot bathtub, and you will feel that lavender, because it really drives it into your body. So you can definitely feel the difference. So during menstrual cycle, use the Clary-Calm. Other things that can also be used are the Clary Sage. So I've got that one. This one is, a lot of people believe that it is only for older women. This phytoestrogen is really great for younger women during their cycles, because again, it's helping to balance the hormones, which is all we're trying to do. So those are some things you can use if you've got these oils on hand. So Clary-Calm would be your first choice, Clary Sage, phytoestrogen. If the cramps are really bad, you can try using Copaiba oil. The Copaiba is a natural painkiller. And that will work really well if you can drive it, into your body. It works on more of a, it doesn't work as a more of a, what am I the word looking for? Some of them are analgesic. So Copaiba is not an analgesic. So your analgesics would be something like peppermint, wintergreen. Those are your analgesics that actually kind of numb the area of the body that you put it on. Copaiba is more of a generalized, just helps dull the pain. It activates the CB2 receptor in the brain. We've talked about it before, because that's the same receptor that marijuana plant activates, but it doesn't have the hallucinogenic effects, and it is not from the marijuana plant. But it does help dull that sensation of pain that you feel. And then I'm going to talk about some of the other oils as we go on and kind of move through the cycles. So, when you're younger, you're dealing with the women's issues. The main issue we have is our menstrual cycles. As a woman gets older, she starts to deal with some other things. So menopause actually begins sometime in your 30s is when it begins. It's a very, very slow process. So when menopause begins, changes start to occur to your body. So one of the first changes that we notice, I think that most women notice, is we start gaining weight around our middle. So if you've been thin up until then, all of a sudden you've got all this extra weight accumulating around the middle of your body. And that is actually a hormonal imbalance that is causing that. So some of the things that we found that help as we're going through this is, the way we eat is going to have some effect on that, and then balancing our hormones. So again, trying to use the Clary Sage. The way I use this, by the way, is I actually just put a drop or two on the top of one foot, and I take my other foot and I rub the bottom of that foot against the top of my foot. So I get a little bit on the top of one foot, a little bit on the bottom of the other foot. That seems to work really well to get it into my body really easily. I do find that my symptoms for me, because I'm 54 years old, so of course I am in full-blown menopause, and I do get hot flashes. The symptoms go away, and they do come usually at night. So I use it every night, and I use it in the afternoon also. So like around now, because my hot flashes will start kind of in the evening, and they get worse and worse as the night goes on. So I started using this. It works wonderful. So I am thrilled to find that. So some of the other things, as you're starting to gain this extra weight, so this is sometime in your 30s, and you're starting to gain the extra weight, one of the things that you want to realize is we are so kind of deceived about weight gain and what really causes it. So it's not necessarily sugar. It's not even a lot of fats. It's a lot of the tricks that are played on our bodies by the food we eat. So when you eat things that are low fat, no fat things, they add other ingredients to give it that flavor, because we do want the flavor. So they add these other ingredients, but the nutrients have left. So they've taken away the nutrients that you needed, the fats and stuff, and you've got this artificial stuff because we think that we're getting the right thing. But what happens is our bodies then crave more of what we wanted in the first place. So if you wanted fat and then you eat something low fat, your body was not satisfied because you didn't get the fat that you wanted, because that's what your body wants. And fat's not bad. It's just how our body processes it that's bad. So you actually end up eating more calories in the long run than you would have if you had just eaten the product the way it was intended to be, the fat that was already in there, instead of artificially stripping out the fats and the things that you need there. Again, sugars are the same way. If you eat a lot of sugars, it's a culprit in a lot of healthy foods, just because it says yogurt, salad dressing. I mean, these things are really, really packed with sugar, which leads to more cravings. So sugar makes you crave sugar. And that's something that just occurs in our body. So if you look at these things and you can see what's in it, sometimes you'll find sugars in the weirdest places. I mean, we know that if anybody grew up in the time when we had real peanut butter, and if you're used to real peanut butter, that's fine. But then they created this stuff called Jif, and Jif is filled with sugar and Skippy. So you got all these different peanut butters, and it's filled with sugar. So they made us crave that sweet taste with our peanut butter. But if we were used to having the other peanut butter, it didn't matter. So it's a good idea to get used to the things that we thought were fine before, to help you if you're trying to lose weight or to keep the weight from coming as you age. So what we want to also do is we want to cut back on those fake foods. So artificial ingredients in foods, again, they're tricking our body into believing that we've consumed something that we haven't. And so our body is not reacting properly. And then I had talked about last time, I think I talked about obesogens. So they've recently found that obesogens are created in the body. They stimulate fat production, and that is from the chemicals that are added to the food. So as much as we can, try to get chemical-free foods. Try to get organic food, natural foods. Try to get them without those chemicals on them. It really kind of sucks. You're eating this nice, healthy salad, and then you realize that salad lettuce is sprayed with a lot of chemicals. And so you've just ingested a lot of chemicals, which kind of just ruin the whole effect of that salad that you had. As much as you can, if you can grow your own food, great. There's places where you can't, obviously. It's really hard to grow your own food. Look for your farmers markets and things that aren't sprayed. They don't necessarily have to be organic and more expensive. If you can just find unsprayed versions, a lot of times you'll get rid of most of the chemicals that way. So read ingredients. We know that. Everybody knows read ingredients. So another reason that we're gaining weight is that we're doing the wrong type of exercise. So a lot of times we spend a lot of time at the gym and we're not really seeing any results from that. And a lot of times we find that we're doing the wrong type of exercise. So we often are focusing our efforts on like cardio, done at a moderate intensity, like we can do jogging and, it's good for our heart and things like that. But if you're trying to lose weight, you've got to do better. So what you want to do is not necessarily more time. We don't have time, right? So we don't want to necessarily spend more time. What we want is high intensity workouts. So we can do those 15, 20 minutes and do something really, really intensely, working out, and then take breaks and do that. If you can do that twice a day, that'd be great. And even if you can do shorter bursts more often, that's even better for you. So what happens is you are burning calories after your workout. So you work up this intensity, and then even though you stop working out, you're still burning more calories during that phase of cooling down. So you will build more muscle that way instead of just breaking down the body the way that the regular cardio exercise does. So cardio exercise is excellent for the heart, but if you're trying to lose weight, then you want to do really high intensity exercise if you can. And then also, a lot of times we are afraid to lift weights because we don't want to be all bulky. We don't want to look like men, right? So we're afraid that we'll bulk up. And what we want is strength training actually helps us build well-defined muscles. So we do want to do that lifting that we think that we don't want to do. We do want to do those lifting so that we can bulk up a little bit, and that'll give us a well-defined muscles. It would take an awful lot of working out for us to really get that professional bodybuilder look. So obviously we're not going to be building that. We're going to get the toning that we want, the well-defined muscles that we want by lifting weights. So don't be afraid to go ahead and start doing that. And remember, when you're lifting weights also, strength training also helps build bone mass, so it makes your bones denser so that as they become weaker as we get older, we keep that strength up so that we won't get osteoporosis, obviously. And then we also want to, with strength training, we get lean muscle tissue, which we also want because that will make us lose more weight. So the more muscle you have in your body, the easier it is for your body to burn the fat. So they keep finding out that, the more muscle we have, the more fat we can burn. And that will help all over. And, obviously other risks, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and some of the other things are definitely included in that, some things that we would be avoiding. If you don't have a lot of time to work out, and working out is really not your thing and you're not used to it, just some bursts of running, just do some high intensity running, run around the block or something like that, but really fast. Sprint for 30 seconds, and then maybe walk for a couple minutes, and sprint for 30 seconds, and then walk for a couple minutes, and keep trying that routine. That will work really well for you too. And then another thing that we find when you're gaining weight, a lot of people have thyroid issues. And again, this is an imbalance. And so we have to make sure that we get those thyroid hormones in our body. And so we can lose our thyroid balance by eating incorrectly, obviously. A lot of people, when they diet, they don't realize when you diet and you're not eating a lot of food, you're not taking in the nutrients that you need, and you're losing vitamins. So, one thing you can do is you can add vitamins to your diet. If you have a vitamin you can trust, of course, doTERRA has the Lifelong Vitality Pack. We can add that. That'll help add in some of the vitamins that we're missing when we're doing a diet, when we're actually eating less food. But you don't have to eat less food to lose weight. You can simply eat better foods to lose weight. And I saw this probably the thing I remember the most was when I was going to become pregnant with my first child. So I was 25 years old and I wanted to get pregnant, and I'd gotten married, and we'd been married for like a year. And so when you get married for the first time, the first thing you do is you put on a little weight. So I put on I think about 8 or 9 pounds, and I'm 5 feet tall. I normally weigh 100 pounds. So 8 or 9 pounds on me is a lot of weight. It definitely shows. And I wanted to lose that before I got pregnant because I didn't want to have to deal with then getting pregnant and then having problems after that because I put on so much weight, right? So I just switched to an all organic diet and started eating a ton of vegetables. So I got a bunch of vegetables, and I was eating a lot. I was eating more than I ever ate before. I was never hungry, but everything was organic. And I found that I lost that weight actually within 2 months without doing anything different. No change in my activity level. I didn't exercise anymore or anything. And I felt like I was never hungry. But I was just eating, what I would consider healthy foods, mostly whole foods, like, eating the fruits and the vegetables and meats. I still ate my meats. I cut down a little bit on breads. but I ate all organic, and that I think made a big difference. So when you are exercising, some of the easiest things to do is just try to do some push-ups. And a lot of people can't do regular push-ups because it really is hard on our arms. Our upper arm strength isn't really great as women usually, especially as we age. Do it on the edge of your bed so you're in a more upright position. It is so much easier to do a push-up from there. Yes, it doesn't do as much for your body, but that's a great starting point, because a lot of people say to me, I can't get down and do one push-up. That's just sounds awful. Like, that's going to be so painful. So if that's hard for you, just get on the edge of your bed and do your push-ups there. Do as many as you can. Try to add one each day. If you start out with 3 and the next day do 4, and keep doing it, and try to do it twice a day if you think of it. Maybe in the morning when you get up, get out there and do your push-ups. Right before bed at night, do some push-ups. That'll help a lot too, because then you're lifting your body weight, but you're getting a little bit of help instead of doing it just on the ground. So we know about the thyroids. So again, if you have a thyroid issue, your doctor probably knows by now. You know that some of the symptoms, that you can have with hypothyroidism, which is the one that most people will have a problem with, is where you are gaining weight and you really don't have a good reason for gaining weight. You've done everything the same. You're tired. Your skin and hair might get dry. Your muscles can get weak, or you're uncomfortable. And a lot of people will actually confuse that with fibromyalgia, which we'll be talking about today too. And so if you have problems with thyroid, let me know, because I do have some recipes for thyroid imbalances. Again, a lot of the oils will help bring your body into balance, which will help your thyroid. So then the other thing that you can have that causes a lot of problems with weight gain at any age is going to be things like your hormone imbalance. So when your hormones are imbalanced, your body is completely out of whack. And you need to bring that into balance. I've already discussed the Clary sage and things like that. But some of the things that keeps fat in the regions that you don't want, and like using the belly where we're trying to lose it, right, is because we are stressed. And when we're stressed, we produce cortisol. And cortisol prevents us from losing weight. It gives us that fight or flight kind of hormone, and it increases our appetite, makes us want a lot of carbs, which keeps a lot of fat in our bellies. So we need to reduce our stress. And I know it sounds so easy when you say, yeah, you need to reduce your stress. And then you think about the logistics of it and say, okay, now how do I do that? Which kid do I give up? Or do I go live on the street? Because we have responsibilities. And it's not even about having stress, it's about how we deal with stress. And that's where I think essential oils play a lot into how we can help our bodies, because essential oils can help us reduce our stress. It is so simple sometimes. I take something like, I've got grapefruit here. So grapefruit's also great for losing weight if you diffuse it. But grapefruit oil is a great one for reducing stress. Wild orange, another one for reducing stress. Just diffuse them. The smell of these oils and the way they react in our brain when they reach the olfactory system is amazing, because it will help you to reduce your stress. And that's why they even diffuse like lemon oil in some hospitals. And they found that the employees there said that they feel less stress because, thanks, Kessa. Can you close my door, please? Yeah. Sorry, it's my daughter.
Oh, with the dogs.
Take the dogs with you, please. Okay. But they found that diffusing lemon oil helped the employees, stated that they felt less stress. Simply because they're diffusing lemon oil. Nice, inexpensive oil, easy to diffuse. Nobody seems to dislike it. I would love to see that in, like, I don't know, classrooms at school perhaps would be a great place for lemon essential oil to be diffused. And it helps purify the air. So there's so many different benefits there that definitely, reducing stress is a big one, because we know that we're all stressed. I mean, society has changed so much. At my age, I've seen us go through these things, and I've seen society just seems more and more stressed all the time. There's so much information out there. We have so many options. We have so many choices, and it does make it harder to have all these choices, because we're always afraid we're making the wrong one or whatever. So we are all dealing with a great amount of stress, and that is producing that cortisol, and that is causing us to gain weight as a culture. So if you're one of the lucky ones that get to stay thin, awesome. I hope you get to enjoy that a long time, but as you get older, it gets harder and harder. So definitely want to be keeping your body in balance as much as you can. And so then again, also we know prescription medicine obviously can make you gain weight, because it has side effects, and most prescription medicines have pretty bad side effects. Weight gain is obviously one of them on a lot of different medications. So hopefully you can get off medications and find other resources for getting rid of your problems, right? So that's what we're here trying to get. Now, here's one also that I think recently, I think a lot of attention has been given to this. And I think we are all well aware that when you don't sleep well, you will gain weight. Seems odd because you're awake more, so you should be burning more calories, right? But the fact is, study after study keeps showing that people that get enough sleep, that get their 7-8 hours of sleep, they don't have nearly the amount of problems with weight gain as people who are getting less sleep. So they have found there is a correlation between the amount of calories you consume the next day when you didn't sleep, compared to when you did get a good night's sleep. So apparently we crave food when we don't sleep well, which, I don't know, maybe too tired to do anything else. So you just eat. I don't know what the reasons are, but you want to definitely know about that correlation. So try to get good sleep. And again, here we go. Essential oils can help with that. So we know our sleep essential oils, right? We know lavender, serenity. If those don't work for you, because they don't work for me, you can use vetiver, wild orange, cedarwood, and ylang ylang. So those are your sleeping oils, and any combination of those that you are comfortable with, try different combinations. Not everything works for everybody. Like I said, lavender, serenity did not work for me or my husband. So we looked at different oils. I seem to do pretty good with cedarwood. Oh, and Roman chamomile is the other one. That's one I like to use. I use cedarwood with Roman chamomile because the cedarwood smells good. The Roman chamomile, I don't know, kind of smells weird. So I don't really like the smell of it. So I add the cedarwood to it, and that combination works for me. So figure out your combination to help you both fall asleep and stay asleep. So a lot of people fall asleep just fine, but have trouble maintaining that sleep cycle throughout the night. So make sure your diffuser is diffusing for a good 8 hours so that you can get the sleep that you need. And doTERRA has the Lumo diffuser that diffuses 10 hours. I believe it's 10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours. Which is good. And I like it because it doesn't use much oil because it goes on and off. So it goes on for a period of time and then it shuts off for like 15 minutes and then comes back on. That's great. And then there are other diffusers out there that do the same thing. But when you're looking for a diffuser, that's what you want it to do, ideally. And then, of course, some of the things that we eat emotionally, that's a tendency of ours to deal with our emotions by eating. So trying to recognize that and finding other ways to unwind, unwind without that glass of wine, which is, pretty bad for calorie wise, or, try to not feel bad and go for the ice cream, but instead, if you feel bad, try to reach for an apple or something like that if you can. So those are some of the basic things about, women as we age and the different things we go through. And I do want to talk a little bit about fibromyalgia. But first I want to give you guys a chance. Did anybody here have any questions? Unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions about what we've discussed. Anybody? Questions at all? No? Okay. I'm going to move on to fibromyalgia. I know Bonnie wanted to be here for this, but I don't see her here, so I guess she couldn't make it after all. And I know Linda's sick, so we've got a few people that are not going to be here that are usually here. I've got new faces today. It's kind of fun. Okay, so we have some other things to discuss. And fibromyalgia, I don't know what you guys know about it. I think people know about it nowadays. When I was younger, it was still one of those really kind of undiagnosed kinds of things. People didn't believe it really existed. It started out with people thinking about chronic fatigue syndrome. And then we had fibromyalgia, which was it usually evolves to fibromyalgia. And when I was in my 20s, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia as it was starting to get out there, but it wasn't really accepted. And now people realize it is a real disorder. And it causes, it's kind of like overactive nerves in a way, which cause pain. And pain causes tiredness. So that's why people that have fibromyalgia are usually very tired. I am actually asymptomatic now. I was diagnosed in my 20s. It was pretty bad. I was sleeping a lot. Like every day I had to sleep. I was so tired. They gave me medication for it, and after a while that didn't work because it just kind of made me spastic and I couldn't focus. So I found a way to get rid of it myself, which was to get all chemicals out of my environment. So I bought an organic mattress, which is what led to me starting the organic mattress bedding company that my parents are running now that I have. And that was when I was having babies. So when I had started having babies, I specialized in organic mattresses and bedding and diapers and toys and clothing for babies. So that's what we're still doing now. And my parents are taking care of that part of our life. But at that time, when I got rid of everything in my environment, and I got rid of I had 2 fillings in my teeth that were amalgam, and I'm a grinder, so I was releasing a lot of that vapor into my environment. I had those removed as well. And that combination of things got rid of all my symptoms. And I had no symptoms at all until 2012 when I was in a car accident, and then they kind of resurfaced. And then I used essential oils to get rid of them as I learned about essential oils, and I was able to get it in full remission again. So when people tell me they have fibromyalgia and it's destroying their lives, I tell them, you've got to figure out how to get over it, because you can. There are lots of things that can help with the symptoms of fibromyalgia. So if you have it, or you have chronic fatigue, which a lot of times is very similar, or if you think you might have some fibromyalgia, I mean, it's something that, like anything, you're on a gradation. It can be really bad where you're completely bedridden, or it can be just a little bit where you're just tired every day, and you're feeling, pain more than other people or more than you used to. And those are the kind of, the things that happen with fibromyalgia. So I'm going to talk about some of the oils that are used for fibromyalgia. So as you're reaching out to other people, some of you I know are builders, and if you're reaching out to other people with your essential oils, fibromyalgia is super, super, I hate to use the word popular because it's not a good thing, but it is really out there. A lot of people that reach out for essential oils have fibromyalgia because they've had no success at the doctors. I mean, they've gone through the whole, all these different chemicals that the doctor gives you, all these different medicines, and they figured out that, look, the doctor is not helping them. They're just getting worse and worse. They're not getting help with the doctors. A lot of times doctors will drop patients because they have fibromyalgia because they just don't know what to do. They'll just say, I can't help you. I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do. Because normally what they prescribe is painkillers. They'll prescribe uppers to help keep you awake when you're really tired so that you can function. And they end up with like 6 different medicines, I think, that they can, because they get headaches, and so they give you headache medicine and all that stuff. So after that time, after they've gone through that and they figured out that the doctor really isn't helping them, they reach out for essential oils, which is a great choice because essential oils actually can do a lot for fibromyalgia symptoms. So we don't say we cured the disease. I don't know if there is a cure for it, and I don't know actually what kind of disease it is. We still don't know a whole lot about it, but we can fix symptoms. And that's, if I'm asymptomatic, then I don't have it, right? So that's what we want. We just don't want to fix the symptoms. Doesn't matter what our underlying diseases are. I'm sure we all have all kinds of things underlying in there, but let's just fix the symptoms so that we don't have them. So some of the things that we deal with fibromyalgia is, of course, stress is one of the main causes of fibromyalgia. So that's why mine resurfaced in a car accident. It was very stressful on my body when the car accident happened. And because of that, somehow it just kind of made it release back into my body. All the symptoms came back really quickly. So stress is a very big component. And people, a lot of times when they have fibromyalgia, if they can just reduce the stress level, or at least reduce their perception of stress, or use the oils to make so their body doesn't respond to the stress, so we trick our bodies, then we're fine. So that is lavender that we use to help reduce the stress, to help calm us. Lavender is great for pain relief. I don't know if you've ever used it for pain, but if you cut yourself and it hurts, if you put lavender on it, it actually will stop hurting. So you can put lavender directly on a cut or scrape or whatever, and that will help with the pain for quite some time. So it's a great pain relief agent as well. And a lot of people don't think of it as that. We think of more things like peppermint oil, because that would be muscle pain relief, where lavender oil is more skin pain relief. But since you can consume lavender oil, it also works overall in your body to reduce pain and sensation of pain, I guess it would be. And it does also on your skin. It has it's an anti-inflammatory. It's similar to some of the other analgesics. So if you've ever used it on something that's super itchy, so if you get a bug bite or worse than that, I had rat mites before from my pet rat, and I had to put lavender all over my whole body for that, and that worked. It was great. It was an analgesic. It just stops the pain. So if you have itching, if you get a rash of unknown origin, you can put that on there as well. You probably should dilute it. Lavender can be too strong for some people, undiluted, so you probably want to dilute it unless you're just putting it on a little spot like a bug bite. I wouldn't dilute it, but if I was rubbing it over a large area, dilute it. Same with peppermint. Dilute it if you're using it on a large area. And then we know it's used for sleep. So they did a study in 2016 where they found it worked great for people that had osteoarthritis in their knees. So lavender was great for that, and that would be applying it directly to the area in a carrier oil. So also we have peppermint oil. So peppermint oil also reduces pain, which we know. It also improves mental stimulation. So a lot of times people with fibromyalgia, they can become kind of unfocused, disoriented. A lot of that has to do with their a lot of pain. They're dealing with a lot of pain, which is why they have those symptoms. So that'll help with that focus and mental stimulation. And if you mix it with eucalyptus oil, it can help actually with cognitive performance. So if you're in school and you're going to go take a test, you want to do some like peppermint oil, maybe some eucalyptus, or smelling those oils, put a little bit on or something like that. That will help you when you're testing to help your performance during that. It helps relax your muscles, and it helps a lot with headaches. So a lot of times people get headaches. I found that peppermint oil by itself does not work for my headaches, but if I can mix it with other oils, it is very helpful. So a lot of oils that you mix with peppermint oil with lavender is good. Peppermint and eucalyptus is good. Cedarwood is also one you can add to the mix if you're not having success with the other ones. And you want to put them back here. Do not put them up here because peppermint oil this close to your eyes will make your eyes water. On the other hand, if you have something in your eye and you can't get it out, peppermint oil right here will make your eyes water, and that'll get rid of that. So it works great for that. You want to get something across the top of your head right here, and then right here behind your ear, you make sure you get this area right here. It's this bone that we feel right here. If you can put some peppermint and eucalyptus along there, or other things that you're using for headaches, that works really well because most of the pain from headaches is referred pain coming from more of your shoulder area. So that will help a lot. Then also sandalwood is kind of a sedative to the central nervous system. So when you think of sedative, you have sedatives that make you tired, but you also have sedatives that just sedate a certain part of your body. So if it sedates your central nervous system, that's great because it's your nerves that are having problems when you have fibromyalgia, because it is a nerve issue. If you can sedate your nerves, that will work good. So that would be cedarwood. And it increases non-REM sleep. So that's something if you, it improves the sleep because if you're increasing your non-REM sleep, then you are getting better, more deep sleep, assumably. So, and I don't know I studied sleep in college, and so I'd learned a lot about sleep back then, which was interesting because we did find that like nursing mothers do not actually enter stage 4 sleep. They only go to stage 3, but they're fine. Stage 3 is fine. So it's your non-REM sleep that you do want to get more of. If you are mostly in REM sleep, then your sleep is going to be poorer overall. You do need some REM sleep, but you don't want to spend too much time in REM. So if you are finding that you are sleeping enough hours, but you don't feel refreshed, maybe try some cedarwood and see if that helps you to get the right type of sleep, which hopefully will help you feel more rested the next day. Eucalyptus is usually used as a decongestant. It's anti-inflammatory. And then when they did studies, they found that they were using that for when they had total knee replacements. So people getting that knee replacement surgery that's really popular now. But they found that eucalyptus is amazing for that. It lowers the pain, lowers the inflammation, and it lowers their blood pressure. So that was another thing that would be useful. A lot of people with fibromyalgia end up with knee problems. I'm not sure why they end up with that. And maybe it's just because their perception of pain is so much higher that it is actually really painful for them to walk. So some other things, again.
I just have one question. You said sandalwood, or did you actually mean
Oh, sorry, sandalwood?
cedarwood?
No, sandalwood. That was sandalwood. We were talking.
Okay.
I said cedarwood? No, cedarwood's the one for sleep. Yeah, sandalwood is the one we were talking about. Yeah, the sedative effects. And it's interesting because sandalwood is not one that we actually have studied for use with sleep. So I'm glad you brought up that point. I haven't actually tried sandalwood at night. I should try that because I also had I was diagnosed with narcolepsy in my 20s also. I don't have any symptoms now. I'm asymptomatic on that too, which is awesome. but I do have some of the sleep, like I have a lot of REM sleep. That's part of the problem with narcolepsy. You go into REM sleep immediately, which I do know I still do. And I don't always feel refreshed. So I think I'll try the sandalwood tonight. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm going to give that a
Yeah.
shot. Let's see what that does now to my cycle there and see how my sleep cycle goes there. Okay. And then we have ginger oil, which is for, nausea, improving digestion, and blocking pain sensations. So again, we're just trying to block those pain sensations in the body. Fibromyalgia is just one of the disorders that we have that causes a lot of pain in the body, because that's more of an overall body pain. Any of these oils that we're discussing that for use with fibromyalgia and pain can be used to manage other types of pain. So if you are dealing with other pain issues in the body, you can use any of these oils and any combination of the oils to get rid of that pain, at least on a temporary basis. And you got to remember, oils stay in the body depending on the oil. So anywhere from 90 minutes to hours, many hours depending on the oil. So I do know, like lavender, when you put lavender on topically, it goes throughout your whole entire body and is virtually gone within 90 minutes. So that's something you would have to reapply. So like if you get a bug bite, it'll start itching again after an hour and a half, and you need to reapply it. So that's how lavender works on the body. And then some of your other oils that are more heavier oils are going to last they take longer for your body to metabolize. So they'll be in your body longer. But I haven't seen any oils that last more than about 6 hours in the human body. So as you know, we're always learning about them. So if I find out different, I'll let you know. But right now, just keep that in mind. If you're using something for a problem, you need to keep using it. And here's where I'm going to bring up something totally unrelated to our talk today, but I want to bring it up because it's flu and cold season. And I cannot tell you how many people have emailed me lately asking about the oils and saying that they tried the On Guard and it's not working. And then I asked them and they said they're taking it once a day. And I'm like, okay, it's not magic. You do need to use it more often. So if you are fighting a flu, cold, or something like that, a virus, and you're using On Guard for it, you need to take that every 2 hours, and it needs to be 3 full drops. So the On Guard soft gels only have 1.5 drops in them, so you need 2 of those if you're taking that. If you're taking the Veedlets, you're going to need 12 of those. Those are 1/4 drop each. If you're using the oil itself in a capsule, make sure you get 3 drops in there. And make sure it's every 2 hours. And then the other big mistake, when you start feeling better and you think you're all better, you're not. The virus is still in your body. You need to keep taking it for another day to kill the rest of the virus. So you've got to keep it in your system if you want it to help your body kill that virus. So, and you want to use it as soon as possible. So here's how viruses work. Just so you understand this, so we can get over through these flus and colds, because I don't want anybody else to get them. And I certainly don't want to bring you back to me again. So when you get a flu, your body starts, you got viruses in your cell, and they're inside the cell, which is why doctors don't have a good handle on them. They, rest, water, soup, whatever. That's all they really can recommend, because your body has to fight it, because inside the cell, they don't have medicine that gets there. Essential oils do get there, which is awesome. So the On Guard can get inside the cell and it'll start killing the virus. So when you have a virus, first you have the virus, then you have symptoms. And the symptoms start after the virus has replicated enough that there's enough in your body for your body to launch an attack. So now your body says, oh my gosh, I'm sick. And now you start getting your symptoms. So as soon as possible, you want to start taking the On Guard, because it has a lot less virus to kill right then. If you wait a day or two and now you really have the virus and like whole bunch of cells in your body have the virus, it is so much harder to kill, because the On Guard has to work harder, you have to work harder, and it's really hard to kill that many viral cells, because you have to keep killing them so they aren't replicating. So make sure you take it early, make sure you're taking enough. So 1 drop of this is not going to do it. It's not going to get into your cells enough. And that usually you want to take internally. If you're using it with kids, we don't recommend internal. That's a really strong oil. You're going to want to put it on the bottom of their feet, and you're going to do it often. Just keep applying it to the bottom of their feet so that they can keep getting the On Guard throughout their system. Okay, so anyway, that was just, I just want to make sure I mentioned that in case anybody's also got the flu and everything. I've seen it going around here, and I'm really hoping I don't get it. So I want you to be able to fight that. So some of the other ones for fibromyalgia, so we'll go back to fibromyalgia. Basil is really good. Again, that's for pain relief with fibromyalgia. And then cedarwood also, now cedarwood kind of works weird because it's not an analgesic, but what it does is it kind of tricks your brain into experiencing the pain differently, so it's not so painful for you, because a lot of pain experience is simply what we perceive. And so cedarwood is kind of one of those ones that kind of tricks you, and they've done really successful studies with mice on that one. So generally we find that those things do apply to humans. Also clove oil, which is in the On Guard, also a good pain reliever, probably because of the high eugenol content in it. We know about the ginger oil. We know about the lavender oil. And so one of the blends that that people make for specifically for fibromyalgia pain that works really well is they use white camphor oil, and that's not one that doTERRA makes, so you'd have to get it somewhere else if you want to use that one. White camphor oil is in some, I think it's in some of the blends, and the camphor component, the actual chemical component, is in some of our oils. So if you don't have camphor oil, you can't get it, you can look for the oils that have it. A good place to look, in case you guys don't know, but this book that a lot of us buy when we get into essential oils, tells you about oils. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you read this book, it tells you the conditions, but it gives you the chemical content. So like this one is my lavender. Lavender. It says chemical constituents. It says alcohols up to 58%, linalool over 41%, and it lists all these different chemicals that are in it. So that you can find in the Modern Essentials book. I imagine you can find the same thing online if you just look for a chemical component of lavender essential oil. So you don't have to buy a book. You can look it up that way. Sometimes it'll get you a lot of information that will help you when you're combining oils for certain conditions, so that you get different parts that you need. So let's see, I wanted to go back to kind of really briefly, because I want to finish this up in the next few minutes here. I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you guys coming, and I hope you're learning something from this. But I did want to go back to some of the symptoms, again, of menopause and with relation to food. So when you're starting menopause, somewhere in your 30s, and so if you're helping somebody, we get a lot of people coming to doTERRA for menopausal symptoms as well, because again, doctors don't have a really good handle on this, and they can't really do a whole lot. So some of the things that don't have to do with the oils that we tell them also is you want to get your organic fruits and vegetables, because that will have the antioxidants that slow the aging process. Now I'm going to say that every woman I've ever talked to wants to slow the aging process. Nobody wants to get old fast. So start this anytime. It doesn't matter how young you are, get this started. You want to make sure that you are getting lots of antioxidants. You need those fruits and vegetables, and young adults are like the worst ever. I have young adults living here, my kids, and they do not eat fruits and vegetables a lot because it takes time, and they're busy. They've got school, they've got friends, and they're just on the run all the time. And, McDonald's does not serve a whole lot of vegetables, I guess. So, they're not getting those, but you need those antioxidants. You want to try to get them organic so they don't have the chemicals, which will just kind of throw off the whole balance. And the phytoesterols will help with the balancing your hormones. So that'll help with that, more hormone balance, so you don't get like PMS, and you don't get, as bad symptoms during your period and stuff like that. So your best vegetables are going to be your cruciferous vegetables. So in case you don't know, broccoli, cabbage, kale, if you like kale. And kale, interestingly enough, actually is one of the vegetables that is really good for helping balance estrogen levels. So if you aren't eating kale, you might want to try to figure out a way to get it into your diet. I eat mine in a smoothie because kale is gross. So I grind it up and stick it in my smoothie with yummy stuff like fruit juices and stuff. So those are some of the vegetables that you want. Then you want the high fiber foods, and the high fiber foods will help make so that you don't gain weight as easily. It gives you healthier cholesterol levels. We know it's good for constipation, and of course those are going to be your nuts and seeds, and your legumes, beans, avocados, interestingly enough, and vegetables and fruit. And something about nuts that I've been studying kind of on the side separately, we should be eating nuts every day. And a lot of us don't eat nuts at all. So if you can eat nuts, and if you can find a nut that you can eat, there are so many nutrients in nuts that we really need that will really help balance all of our levels. So if you can, try to get nuts in your diet. And then we have another one, natto. Now, natto is something kind of new to me. It's a fermented soy, and I'm not that familiar with it, and I don't know if I've ever actually had it, but I know that it contains a phytoestrogen that helps balance your hormones. So unless you want to avoid it if you have had an estrogen positive breast cancer in the past. Other than that, you do want those. You want phytoestrogens, and that's why. And if you can't have those because you've had problems, that's where you can use something like this. So if you can't get the phytoestrogen type foods, then you can just take this instead. This will have the whole food blends in it that doTERRA makes that'll help you with those phytoestrogens. And that'll help. And this, I'll tell you, helps a lot with those night flashes, the hot flashes at night. And then your omega-3s, we all know omega-3s are very important. They're in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. If you're not taking that Lifelong Vitality Pack helps with so many symptoms of menopause and of fibromyalgia and of so many other disorders because it is been very, very well balanced with the things that it has. It doesn't have a whole lot of anything. They don't go up to like 200% RDA because that's crazy. We don't need that much, so why do it? So it helps keep your body in balance, and that pack contains a lot of those omega-3s that we need because we don't produce them. We have to get them somewhere else, and they just aren't in, it's in fish, but there's not a lot of places to get fish on a daily basis. Like if I were to go to my kitchen right now, I don't think I have anything there that is actually fish that I could just grab. So I try to eat fish regularly, and I love fish, but there's not like fish potato chips or something like that I could just grab and eat. So I take the omega-3s, which really helps a lot. And then your probiotics, of course. We all know that we need probiotics to help our system function really well. Now it's your turn to talk. Any questions on all that? Do you guys have any questions, any comments? I'm hoping I taught you some things. Did anybody learn anything? Talk to me, guys. I'm lonely out here.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Okay. So any questions on that? Did it all make sense to you?
I was just wondering about the blend thing. It's only white camphor oil?
No, the blend? Oh, no. It was white camphor with aloe vera gel or oil, if you can get that.
Okay.
You know how they have aloe vera in that liquid form that you can get so you can drink it? You can use that if you can't find aloe vera oil. I haven't found aloe vera oil anywhere, honestly.
Okay.
So I use the gel that I have that I can eat. And then eucalyptus oil, lemon oil, orange oil, peppermint oil, and rosemary oil. And the recipe I have called for, it was about 3 drops of each on that blend. And that is something, I think Dr. Z has a recipe for that that's very similar. If not, it might be the same. I didn't get it from that source. This came from somewhere else I'm doing research. But did you get a chance to watch the Dr. Z videos?
Yeah.
Okay. So, they had one on the Dr. Z. If you look through, I don't know if you printed out your packet. I know I did. I was really good. I did my packet and everything. Let me see if I wrote it down here. They had a blend that had those, and I believe it was like 3 drops of each of the different oils in that. Where's my packet? I don't know what I did with mine. So you can look it up there too.
Okay.
You can find the exact recipe. Do you have fibromyalgia or?
No, my mom does.
She does. Okay, yeah. Then look into that and let me know if you find a good source of white camphor oil. Like, I love doTERRA oils, but they don't have everything. I get my turmeric oil from Dr. Axe because they have turmeric oil and doTERRA doesn't yet. And I would be interested in getting some white camphor oil if I can find it, because that's what's recommended on that blend. It's be a good thing to have around. So let me know if you find some somewhere.
Okay.
But that is, that's the recipe I got. Let me see if I can find the exact recipe, because it was 2 tablespoons of carrier oil. I remember that. And then each of the other oils, let me look it up real quick. So I'll have it on this video so everybody can look. Yeah, I thought they got it from somewhere else, but let me see. Dr. Z had one too, so I'm gonna look on there because I know it's a massage blend for people that have fibromyalgia, specifically for fibromyalgia for dealing with the pain and stuff. So it is 2 ounces of the carrier oil. So any carrier oil you're comfortable with. I find that coconut oil is great because it has a long shelf life and everything. So if you're gonna make a blend and you're gonna keep it around more than a month, you want to use coconut oil. But if you are gonna use it pretty rapidly, other oils spread better, like almond oil, and it's cheaper. Almond oil, like organic almond oil, I can get on Amazon pretty cheaply. And it's spread better. It seems to be a thinner oil, which I like when I use body oils. So you can use that. And then you can use an ounce of fresh frozen aloe. So if you have aloe plants, you can actually just use that. If you have you just freeze it and you grind it up in and then put it in this, or you can use aloe vera gel, which is like the stuff that I buy at the store that I can eat. And then 2 drops of, now she says on hers, this is from Mama Z, she says bergamot, camphor, lemon, peppermint, rosemary. The other one I got almost the same, except okay, the other one I got uses eucalyptus and orange oil instead of, no, in addition to these. Oh, instead of bergamot. So either way you want to do it, you could use the other oils, use 2 drops of each, or you can use this recipe here. Do you want me to, I'm gonna show you the screen real quick. Let me share my screen real quick so you can see this. If you want to write down this this recipe or take a screenshot of it, would that be good?
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that. This seems like a recipe I'd probably use, so I like it. So let me share that real quick. So you can see here, came from Dr. Z, and this is their fibromyalgia massage oil blend.
Okay.
Okay, and they do say keep it in the refrigerator, which is unusual. We don't usually keep things in the refrigerator, but that will make it last longer because oils do go bad, especially once they've been in a carrier oil. If there's any water in it, moisture after a while will make it go bad. So
Where do you get aloe vera gel?
I actually just got mine at Sprouts. I got it. Any health food store is going to have it, or Sprouts.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no problem finding pure aloe vera gel. I think it's even organic, and it came in a pretty good sized bottle. I mean, it's a lot of it, which is nice. It was a lot of it. It wasn't very expensive, so the gel is really good. It's not like an oil where it's super expensive for a little tiny bit. And I noticed you can use frozen aloe here. So I don't know if you have aloe plants. I have them all over my yard because we're in California, so aloe grows everywhere. Although I still rather get the gel because it's a lot of work to pick that aloe. I mean, I have to pick it, pull off the outside, pull off the little sharp things that will poke me, and freeze it and then grind it up. I don't know. I think I'd rather use the gel. It sounds so much easier to me. So that makes sense. And let me know if you find the camphor. And if you're not going to use the camphor though, use eucalyptus in place of the camphor because eucalyptus and camphor have a lot of similar ingredients.
Okay.
So you can add the eucalyptus and that'll give you a lot of the ingredients that camphor has. A lot of the same chemicals there. So you can use that if you can't find the camphor. So hopefully that helps. And if you guys, if you need more help on this, if you know somebody with fibromyalgia and you're trying to help them out and you still need more help, I am, constantly researching this, and I'd be, willing to share any more research that I get on this with you so that you guys can help other people. And if you're building the business, you're building doTERRA, use this information on your Facebook pages and your sites and stuff. Don't use the word pain, use the word soothing. For some of the symptoms of fibromyalgia. Don't say anything cures anything. We're not allowed to make disease claims that things cure things, but we can say that it helps us with the symptoms, helps with symptomatic relief, temporary symptomatic relief of various issues that people with fibromyalgia seem to deal with. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Any other questions?
I have one.
Sure.
And this is going to sound silly, but anytime anybody in my family have taken anything internally, I don't know why, but it makes us burp like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So we taste all of that. And usually it's the crap that, you know what I mean? Like the bad stuff we taste.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do about that? Where you're not burping so much? Me, especially my husband, he especially never burps like you would think most men do. And
yeah.
So he will not, now he's like, no, I will not take this ever.
Really? Okay. Are you taking them in a capsule or are you taking just the oils themselves?
In a veggie cap.
In a veggie cap. Okay. Part of it is because you're swallowing a capsule and there's air in that capsule. So you're burping out some of the air. The best thing you can do is take it with a whole meal. So take it right before you eat a whole meal. That'll help because then when you burp, you should be burping. If you're going to burp, you're going to burp the food that you ate, most likely. All the oils are very strong, so sometimes you will. And there have been cases where I'll take an oil and, 5 hours later I'll burp like, whoa, when I had that, it happens. We do that with food too. So yeah, I think it's because there's air in the oil in the capsules because I don't usually burp when I have the oils that I just put under my tongue. Like I use a lot of like frankincense I can put under my tongue, copaiba I can put under my tongue. But, like On Guard and stuff like that, a lot of people like to use those in veggie caps because they're so strong. So you're going to have air inside the veggie cap. So you're going to get.
We had food poisoning, so that was, you know what I mean? That was not even, he couldn't do it on a whole meal because he had food poisoning. And then he had the flu. So that wasn't an option either because he wasn't eating anything.
Right.
First he had a cold for like a month, and then he got the flu. And then they had pneumonia. So.
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean?
When you go through that whole course of things, so when you have the flu, we know to go to On Guard, but you have to be diligent and you have to keep using it even when you think you're over it. And you really have to catch these things near the beginning because you got to remember at the beginning you've got the symptoms, but then those symptoms start affecting areas of your body. Now you're trying to undo a whole bunch of things that your body's already in the process of doing. And it makes it really hard because now not only do you have to kill the virus, but now you have to kill the things the virus caused because now you've got excess phlegm. Your system is all clogged up. Your sinus system is all clogged up. Your stomach's been reacting. So now you're having all these other symptoms, right? And you've got to fix all that. And then what happens is, especially as we get older, we're more prone to pneumonia. So we get pneumonia a lot when we have flus as we get older. And so when you start recognizing that, like now, because I'm getting older, when I get, if I'm taking something for flu, I add oregano. I take it in a capsule and I put oregano in a capsule because I know that the oregano will help with preventing pneumonia symptoms because a lot of times pneumonia can be not viral but bacterial, and then it can get lung. It can be really bad as we get older. It can be devastating. We can die from it. So we've got to be really diligent about fighting that. So if he doesn't like the taste, tell him to get over it, to man up, and get over it.
He's a truck driver, so it's hard. And see, I'm Native American, so he's gotten used to the saging, my smudging. He's gotten used to that, and they're finding out now that smoking your house out, it kills pretty much everything. This is before essential oils were the thing. If you smoked your house out, it kills everything. And like I said, they're finding all that now. They're saying finding it out, and now they're admitting it. So he's used to that. So it's now like, what's this craziness now? Oh, what's this voodoo? You're trying on me. But before he came home, I mean, I did the oregano, even though that, I'm like, this is a half a drop because that is strong. But, I made the blend. I diffused it before he got home, but, kept it in his room all night long. I didn't sleep in there, but I let him sleep in there. So you're right. I mean, he didn't take it while he was gone, but he comes in constant contact with people. You know what I mean? So I think he just got it together.
Okay, you need to use more of it. So when you use oregano, you want to use at least a drop. And if you are in an active flu, then you should probably be using 2 drops. And oregano is kind of a weird oil because generally oils can be used all the time, no problem. But oregano cannot be. You should not use it more than a couple weeks. So when you use it for a problem and then stop using it. Interestingly enough, oregano is also really good for killing mold. So if you put it in water and you spray it in your shower, you can kill mold spores because bleach doesn't kill the mold. It just gets rid of the coloring and then the mold grows back after a while. So if you really kill the mold, use the oregano. So I know we diverse a little bit, but yeah. So as far as the oils go, sometimes you're going to burp those up. That does happen. Diffusing an oil is not going to give you nearly the benefits of taking it internally. So diffusion should be meant for oils that are more emotionally tied. So our oils that help us sleep, obviously you want to diffuse those. You want to diffuse oils that help with mood. So if you want to feel better, if you want to feel more energetic, or if you want to feel more focused, you're going to diffuse those oils more than you're going to use them internally. But when you're sick, a lot of times when you're sick and you're trying to solve a problem, you really need to take those internally, and because it's going to do a much better job. And if you can't, like with young kids, we don't recommend internal oils unless it's a serious issue and you've talked to your doctor. Um, so then you're putting it on a rollerball on the bottom of the feet. And if your husband is going to be a wuss and doesn't want to burp up those oils, then you can get the rollerballs out and start just rolling it on his feet often. Just say, okay, then get used to me rubbing this stuff on your feet, and rub it on his feet. If it's something he can tolerate, other areas of his body, obviously, depending on what it is, like when you have food poisoning, you take Digestin internally, and or you can also put Digestin or peppermint oil on your stomach on a heating pad and drive it into your body, because you need to kill the bad bacteria that's in there from that causes the food poisoning. And food poisoning is happening a lot. I mean, people get it all the time. So it's something we need to be able to fix ourselves. We're not going to run to the doctor every time we ate something bad, right? So we want to be able to.
Yeah, and then we found out that he got food poisoning, but it was norovirus. And then I didn't know that when you got food poisoning and it was norovirus, then you have the stomach virus because it's norovirus, and then he gave it to everybody.
Yep.
And we have, she's not quite 2, the 2-year friend. So he gave it to her, who gave it to, but we all got it. And I never knew that before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's why you want to get these things right away. And if he's a truck driver and he's away a lot, make sure he has oils with him. Teach him how to use some of the basics. I mean, just some of the basics are going to be stuff you use for food poisoning and into digestion. So that's your Digestin, right? So whenever you have stomach issues, you go to Digestin. He should have peppermint oil with him in case he bruises himself or has a sore muscle or something like that. That'll help a lot, even if his bottom's getting sore. The other thing truck drivers should definitely be using a lot is some oil that will help circulation, because they're driving a lot and it impinges your circulation, and he will suffer as he gets older with all kinds of things from lack of circulation. That's also a thing used with fibromyalgia, is something to stimulate circulation, because people with fibromyalgia tend to have really poor circulation, cold hands and feet, thoracic outlet syndrome, things like that. So you want to stimulate circulation. You can use lemongrass or marjoram are your best oils for circulation. So he should have those, add those to a blend maybe that he can put on. And anytime you're using an oil and you're making a blend, and let's say you don't like the smell of it, add something you do like to see if you can cover it up. Like what I do is when I make blends, a lot of times I'll just add grapefruit or wild orange just because I want it to smell better. I love the smell of grapefruit. I hate grapefruit. I won't eat grapefruit, but the smell, it smells delicious. I don't know why it tastes so bad, because this comes from the peel. But the peel tastes bad too. So I don't know what the answer is there, but grapefruit oil smells great. So I'll diffuse an oil that'll help cover up some of the other oils that I know I need that I'm trying to use. So and if you want to just put those in the, either make them some roller balls and put them in a little, you've seen all the different things they have. They have all kinds of different things that you can put a bunch of different oil bottles in, right? So what is your name again?
Connie Silva.
Oh, okay. It's Connie Silva Wyatt. That's you, right?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, good. Okay, so, and anybody else I know, if you're kind of new, I don't know how long you've been around Indoterra, but they have, all kinds of resources for getting things that would go with oil. So as you start to use them more and you want to create your own blends and you want to create, things just for you, you can get the bottles and things from aromatools.com. That's where they sell those. You don't have to get them from doTERRA. I know doTERRA sells those little ones. They're actually cheaper. They're probably about the same price, I guess. Yeah. But aromatools.com has those, but they also have the roller balls. They have all different size, even smaller roller balls, which are really cool. And other tools that go along with that, like all the different carrying cases that you can put oils in so they won't clink against each other. They have little separate pockets. Yeah. In their different pockets. So look into that, because you want to have these oils accessible, because you can love oils and everything, but if they're not where you're going to use them, if they're not accessible, you're not going to use them. They're just going to sit around somewhere until you think of it and I should be using that. So I keep all mine. I've got mine by my bed here, which is where I am right now. I've got one of the bamboo boxes over the Christmas season where I store my oils here. Then I've got a bunch in the other room that I let all the kids use, because my kids are all older, so they're all using the essential oils too.
That's what I got. They're the big bamboo boxes, and then I got I think a whole kit from, I think it's Aromalife, and it came with everything like to pop the roller balls off, and the rubber mat and all the. I mean, believe me, I have tons of it, because I used to deal with another company until they had a big problem. They were very nasty, and I was just like, I don't have to deal with you. I can do business someplace else.
You can. So yeah, I remember talking to you about that. So
Yeah, if they want to be nasty, then I can do business someplace else. And
yes,
but so I had a lot of
the best oil. So without yep, and I gotta say, without a doubt, everybody now is really in agreement. doTERRA is the best oil company out there. They've worked really hard to get there. I mean, they're 9 years old and they have worked. This has been their goal, to be the best oil company, to have the most potent oils and the purest oils and everything. Hopefully the best customer service and everything that you'll ever deal with. So, they seem to be doing a really great job. So you guys are in the right place. You got the most potent oils that's out there. And now it's really a key, just learn how to use them. So every Thursday we have a meeting. We discuss different things each Thursday at this time. And I tape them. So if you weren't able to make it, you can listen to it later on. I put it on the Facebook sites so that you can see them. But let me know what you want to discuss. So, I want your input, you guys. If you can just message me through Facebook or email me or whatever, and let me know what kinds of things you want me to keep researching. So I've been through got my certification for an essential oil coach. I learned a lot there about how different body systems work and how essential oils work on different body systems. And I've had a lot of experience with other health-related things besides oils. Like I know how to use herbs a little bit. I'm not really good with homeopathic medicine. I didn't really learn that very well. It was too abstract for me, quite honestly. I couldn't deal with it. I like the fact that this bottle has chemicals in it, natural chemicals, but actual something I can put my teeth on. I can see. I know what it is. Frankincense, yeah. So anyway, and then here's some of my things. So I made an owie blend for my dog. So my dog came back with a really, really bad pussing wound, and the next day after using this, the pussing was gone, and now it's just getting smaller and smaller as the black stuff disappears. I've got this one is for tinnitus. This is one I use because I have really bad tinnitus. Sometimes I can't even hear the TV, and I have to turn it up because it's so bad. It's very loud. This works with getting rid of those symptoms, that ringing in my ears that I've seemed to have developed so wonderfully. So you can create all your own different blends, and you notice these are in different things. Like this is a spray bottle, so I get it on the dog through all his fur. This one is a dropper bottle because I just drop it where it needs to go. And then you've got the roller balls, is another method of delivery. So there's all kinds of different ways to use these oils. Okay, so let me know what you want to talk about next time. If you guys have some things that you want to talk about, I want to make sure I put things that people want to hear about on the top of my list. Just because we've discussed something doesn't mean I won't discuss it again as I learn more. So if I find out that there's more, things I find out about fibromyalgia, because it is a large growing field. I mean, doctors are studying it, essential oils people are studying it. Same with aging problems and weight gain. Of course, everybody's studying weight gain because we're all getting it because there's so much chemicals in our environment. So it's, we know why it's happening. So we just need to figure out how do we combat that given the environment we live in. So keep reaching out to me, okay, guys? I'm gonna let you guys go now. If anybody has any more questions before I go, no.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
I was just wondering. My kid always gets a cough, and I guess mucus is running down his throat and stuff when he's sleeping and stuff like that. So I was just wondering what the best oil for him is.
It sounds like maybe Breathe, because you just need to break up the phlegm and help open his respiratory pathways. So Breathe would probably be a good one because you can diffuse it, so it's safe to use, around kids of any age. And I think you'll find that'll help break that up. Another thing is if he's getting it a lot, look into the fact that it might be an allergy.
Okay.
It's happening a lot, and he has a cough with it, right?
Yeah.
It's a cough from phlegm, right? Because phlegm's going down his throat.
Yeah.
How old is he?
5.
Huh.
He's in kindergarten, and he just, I don't know, I guess a lot of people are getting sick this year, but he keeps getting coughs, so.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, it may not even be a virus. It might just be like kind of either an allergic reaction or a sensitivity reaction. Like I get a lot because I have multiple chemical sensitivity, so I can't be, I'm home a lot too. I can't tolerate perfume, cigarette smoke, anything with fragrance on it. All those chemicals cause mucus buildup in my throat. So that's what I deal with, and so I'm always clearing my throat and coughing. Just from being around just various things, paper, whatever. It's really hard to avoid chemicals. It could be something very simple in his environment. It could be something in his laundry detergent that he's reacting to, if it's all the time, if it's year round. If it's just like this time of year, then he might be fighting a virus, and he might be doing a really good job, because if all he's getting is phlegm buildup and some coughing from that, then he's doing really well, because the flu that's been going around is pretty bad. So
Okay.
he might have a really strong immune system, but the oils that I would use would be Breathe with somebody that age. I think Breathe oil
Okay.
is the best bet, and that because it can be diffused, so you don't even have to worry about putting it on him. If it gets really bad and it's uncomfortable, like the coughing is keeping you up at night, then put the Breathe on his chest, kind of like you would use
Okay.
rub. Do the same thing. Put it in a little bit of carrier oil and rub it on his chest so that he's inhaling the smell during the night.
Okay.
Give that a try, and if that doesn't work, reach out to me, and I'll do some more research and see if we can find out if there's some other ones that might help.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go now. Have a
Okay.
good night, all. I'll see you
Bye.
next week. Bye.